And we are back. Appreciate y'all for tapping in on this lovely edition of the Doing All Right podcast on this Thursday here at Crown Global Media headquarters. I'm on the Iron Throne. Bryan is rocking it over on his side of the mothership there. Oh, boy, bro, I think a heavyweight fight's on the way.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think a heavyweight fight is on the way. Bryan, I'll say I don't think Denver is the best team that the Cowboys have played so far. But I think we're going to learn the most about the Cowboys from this game.
Okay.
Because your biggest strength is your offense.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
And what you've proven is you have the ability to whoop up on middling, cool to good defenses.
Okay.
So in the event that you run into a good team, let's say like the Packers, right?
Right.
They're a good team.
Right.
Pretty good defense. You know that you could put 40 on those guys.
Right.
You had a pretty good pass rush with the Washington characters last week, right?
Right.
You know that you can deal with some stuff like that. Bryan, there's a lesson in every bar. There's a lesson in every bar. We may look at the Denver Broncos and think that, okay, well, Bo Nix is not that terrible of a character, and we just saw them have a shootout with the Giants and all this, goofy little rhetoric here, Bryan. But I think the Cowboys offense, we're really going to know who they are after they play against this Broncos defense. If the Cowboys put the same 40 points up on this Broncos defense that they've put up on these other teams, ladies and gentlemen, I'm glad my camera's on me. Ladies and gentlemen, I know that the Giants just had a shootout with the Denver Broncos. That ain't real life. That ain't what the Broncos defense really is. The Broncos, they're much more stout than that. I think the Giants caught them slipping a little bit. The Giants, maybe the Broncos kind of sleeping on them. The Giants maybe had a good day. Yeah. It could be we don't have much film on the rookie stuff, Bryan. It could be anything. I don't want to make excuses for nobody.
Yeah.
But on a normal day, for the past 2 to 3 years, this Broncos defense has been one of the best in the National Football League. And they are. I think they're like number 1 or 2 or something like that by most metrics on defense. If your Cowboys offense can go out there and do the same 30-point, 40-point shenanigans that they pull off on these other teams, now I'm thinking, I mean, the Lions are scared, but their defense ain't that.
Right.
Or the Chiefs are scared, but their defense ain't that.
Right.
And now I feel like I can put points on anybody, even when we get to postseason talk, Bryan Broaddus. We're going to break down the Broncos defense today, talk about some matchups. I even got a question that I may or may not save as our YouTube short question. I don't know. I just think it's fantastic, but I want to start with injuries because this kind of going to set the table for the rest of the talk, Bryan.
Gotcha.
Pull this damn thing. Bryan, boy, I was watching this Packers defense, boy. This Broncos defense, boy, and they are stout in the middle, Bryan.
They are.
They got some big, heavy, strong characters in the middle.
They do at that.
Cooper Beebe was limited at practice.
He was.
Boy, the show would be nice. Boy,
yeah.
I don't know if he's available like that, Bryan. But, boy, if it's a game that you could have him back, this would be a fantastic time to have him back. Bryan, do you have a report on Cooper Beebe and what it's looking like over there?
I'll tell you what, you know me, I love my golden phone there.
Sure.
Yes, I do have a report on Cooper Beebe. And when you look at Cooper Beebe yesterday in the limited role that he had, yes, getting practice time, that's a super positive thing. Today, being Thursday, they're going to try and ramp him up even more. And that's the plan. They're going to try and get him more reps. They get him more reps today, and then if everything checks out through today, then they're going to get him more reps tomorrow, being Friday. Then they're going to make a determination that he could potentially play. But everything right now is trending in that direction. If he could just maintain, get more reps Thursday, get more reps Friday, Voch, you could see Cooper Beebe in the lineup on Sunday against the Denver Broncos.
Bryan, that is massive.
Yeah.
That is massive. You watch film on these Broncos on that D-line. We're going to, break down some film and kind of talk to you about, some of the things they like to do and some of the stuff that they got going on in the middle. They run a true odd front.
They do.
We'll explain that later. But they basically rely on 3 big characters in the middle, those down linemen being big, strong, powerful, getting pushed and clogging nonsense so that the fast guys around them can go make plays. And I feel like having Booker back, getting his legs up under him, fantastic for us. Big Tyler, we know what he can do. Your tackles are good in the run game, Bryan. I feel like if you can get your powerful center back, then I think the run game could be sort of an advantage for you, Bryan.
No, I think you're absolutely right about this. And really what happened in the Carolina game was that you did not have that. You did not match up well against Carolina's inside three. And as Voch says, though, this Bronco unit is different. And it's different in a way that you see them, whether it's run defense, you go back and break it down like Voch and I have done, and you don't see 10-yard runs. There's a lot of defenses you watch where you say, okay, they're giving up a lot of 10-plus runs. This team doesn't. They do a really good job of that, but they do a really good job of it because they're able to control things in the middle. And that starts with their defensive linemen. And then when they use these defensive linemen, they use them in pass rush. They'll spread everybody out. It's really not you've got two of the, when you start to talk about with Cooper and Benito, with him, those guys' ability, they get off the ball as fast as anybody that you will face this year. So it's speed off the edge, but what happens in the middle of that defense is you see twist games, you see exchanges, you see them pushing the pocket. This week is going to be critical for the Dallas Cowboys when it comes to Dak Prescott. He's done a great job of managing pressure. But this crew right here, it's pressure in a different ways. You're going to get the edge pressure on both sides, but you got to be able to handle the pressure inside. These when you start to talk about potentially with BB playing, with Smith playing, and Booker playing, where Dak Prescott needs to win the day is stepping up in the pocket and making throws. And those three inside guys for the Cowboys have got a big, big task. Yeah, we could talk a lot about what's going to happen on the outside with Guyton, and Steele, but it's really going to come down, I think, to what's going on inside, and that's going to give Dak Prescott the best opportunity to have success.
Is this a team, let's just say BB's healthy and you have a full complement of your offensive line, is this a team that you would even want to run the football against?
You know what?
It's going to be tough.
It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough, and I'm going to try to run the football because I feel like though that maybe some of the things that happened in the Carolina game give me some concern. Dallas's ability to pin, to pull, to play in space, really that's how their run game is kind of dictated. They love the down blocks. They love to be able to seal and then get guys in space. We've seen that. We all watch these games and you're like, hey, how's Dallas doing this? Oh, look at this. Down block, and watch this guy pull. Watch two guys pull. Watch a guy kick out. Watch a guy log inside. Watch space, watch Williams have really good patience and all of a sudden burst through the hole. Carolina took that ability away from you. And if you don't handle these inside three, penetration could be a problem here. Yeah, and I just don't think Dallas could be one-dimensional in this football game. I feel like that they're going to have to try and make some runs. You watch early in the season, the Broncos played the Colts. And the Colts were able to get some runs going with Taylor, their quality running back. They did a really good job of blocking up the front. The Broncos have had some missed tackles. That's been a problem. We're not going to see Dre Greenlaw in this game because of a suspension. That will really help the Cowboys because he's, we know him from his days with the 49ers. So he's going to miss this game because of a suspension. But then Singleton, the other linebacker, is a guy that plays very, very well against the run. He has had some opportunities where he has missed some tackles himself. So how the Broncos manage not having Greenlaw in there will be big for them this week too.
Man, these dudes good, Bryan.
They are good.
Watching these guys on defense
But you're good on offense, though, too.
Really good on offense.
Yeah, you are good on offense.
And I think that's the big conversation about this thing. I will say watching the Broncos defense made me jealous about my Cowboy defense because they how they're constructed personnel-wise, right? They don't just seem like a random bunch of players thrown together. Mm-hmm. It's like everybody kind of works in tandem with each other, Bryan. It's like, you got those three characters in the middle and some super athletic dudes on the outside. We're talking about Cooper and Benito. Those dudes get after the passer, Bryan, and it's ridiculous. And they're middle linebackers, right?
Yeah.
Greenlaw is normally involved, but
Singleton,
and this week I'm assuming they're going to run Justin Strand out there.
Yeah, Strand will be the guy.
Those linebackers just run. They it's so clean for them.
Right.
They have such clean runways because of the big characters up front there. If you do run, I'm sure Javonte Williams want to get some sort of a revenge game out there.
Absolutely he does.
I think you got some dudes to kind of match this up, but this ain't a week where you want to run outside too much.
No.
Because they got athletes out there.
Right.
If anything, if you can control the big guys down bottom and kind of get bodies on the linebackers, I don't think this is a week to where if you're comboing down, you don't want to leave for linebacker early. I think that's going to be a talking point amongst the offensive line coaches, because I remember as an ex-offensive lineman, Broaddus, and we were doing a bunch of this combo stuff.
Yeah.
It'll kind of vary week to week. Sometimes if you felt like you had a good handle on the down guys, we can talk to each other and go, yeah, I've got a good feel after a series or two. You could just go leave and go get that linebacker. I'm fine here. Other times when the down linemen are a little more dangerous, hey, don't leave me as fast.
Right. Secure the block
Let's
first.
hang around on this combo.
Right.
And if anything, we'll come off on the linebacker late.
Right.
I think this will be a fantastic week if you're going to run the ball, and I think they will, because play action is so important to this offense. And if anything, you would want Williams to kind of wear these guys down a little bit.
Yes.
I think this is a week to where you want to focus on those down guys, get to the linebackers at some point, and if you can, to kind of help you in the pass rush department, you need to beat up on Cooper and Benito.
Yeah.
Put some bodies on them and really try to push those guys
I
around.
think that when you watch the teams, when I mentioned the Colts, because I think the Colts have one of the better offensive lines in the league. And you go back and you watch Philadelphia as well. Philadelphia just didn't get it going against the Broncos. I mean, there weren't those runs where you were like going, wow, that's, Saquon Barkley just, ripping off run after run after run. It was really the Colts. And the Colts, they have a powerful front. And they did a really good job, exactly what Voch is talking about, the ability to hang on those down blocks or the combo blocks, and try and push that defender, that defensive tackle back, make these linebackers have to run the hump, going a little. But the ball was not. There were a couple of times where the ball was going to the outside, and there was a positive run. But it's going to come really between the tackle and the guard. That's kind of where maybe a little bit off the tight end, not all the way to the outside. But I could see the Cowboys trying to really get some push on these defensive tackles and then use their trap games. Make sure that Benito, make sure that they and Cooper and those guys, you got to account for them, because what will happen if you don't, then you get the backside run. And that's where you all of a sudden Williams is showing some patience as he's waiting for things to kind of develop. Then all of a sudden you got one of these guys screaming off the edge. And I mentioned earlier, though, two of the better edge rushers when it comes to the get off time, like 0.73, 0.70. That's getting up there pretty. That's pretty in rare air when you start to talk about. So they want to get off the football. Maybe you have a situation where you can kind of get them off the ball and then knock them to the outside, get them up the field, and then take the ball back up inside.
Do you think you're going to have a hard time with these pass rushers, Bryan? I think if the Cowboys are going to win this game, let's just be clear.
Yeah.
It's going to be in the air.
Yeah.
It's going to be the Cowboys throwing the football around and these guys. The run game, you always want that to be available. If this is a game where you just kind of run to set up stuff and Javonte ends up with 60-some yards just to make the passing game go, I'm totally fine with that. I think you're going to have to, if there's anybody you want to find, I've seen free safety Brandon Jones get caught up in some stuff.
Right.
The nickel corner Jaquan McMillan kind of, people look at him.
Mm-hmm.
Bryan, they don't give up a bunch of big plays at all.
They don't.
But when they do, Riley Moss is the guy.
Yes. He's been, because people don't want to attack Surtain. They're afraid to attack Surtain.
I try to attack Surtain, Bryan, bro.
Yeah.
I try.
Well, especially you got dudes.
You got dudes.
You got dudes playing dudes.
Yeah.
So to me, when you have dudes playing dudes, you could afford to do this. And Dak Prescott is one of the better tight window throwers throughout his career. You just look at the number tight window throw, and Dak Prescott is one of the top guys in the league. So yeah, I'm not going to sit there and say, hey, completely stay away from Surtain. This team has 2 interceptions this year. And one of them was an overthrown pass. I mean, and then also last week against the Giants, our guy Jackson Dart there late in the fourth, he just didn't see the linebacker right there. But this is a team, I mean, it really, 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 really comes down to their pass rush. And can you block this front? And like I said, it's going to be movement inside, speed off the edge, occasional linebacker blitz, and then occasional secondary blitz. So they're going to try and come after you, and you got to be very, very mindful. The sacks have been coming on third down, but they've been getting sacks as well on second down. So maybe you're going to maybe be in a situation where you think about early down throws, first down throws, maybe second down runs. Try and kind of don't let this Denver Bronco defense, Voch and Vance Joseph, get into some rhythm with you. Don't make it turn into run, pass, or run, pass. Kind of give it a little bit. Maybe it's going to have to be some early down throws, and then that's when they seem to be kind of like they're just that they haven't really had as many sacks. It's that second and third down where these sack numbers have gotten pretty big for them. I think they have 34 sacks, and you could kind of break it down. So early down throws, second down runs, maybe third down runs with the way that they play their pass rush.
I was watching Sounds of the Sideline the other day, Bryan. I don't know if you particularly.
Boy, I love that stuff.
Okay, cool.
Alex Lilly does a great job with that. DallasCowboys.com.
I hyper consume it.
Yeah.
I hyper consume it because I'm always looking for little tips and
hints,
little tidbits. CeeDee Lamb and a wide receiver coach, and I believe GP was over there. They was having a conversation. They said, hey, man, they line up in man. If they're going to line up in man against us, we just going to do this and XYZ and XYZ.
Right.
I think the Cowboys want other teams to play man against them. Because you got some man beaters. You first of all, there's schemes and there's way that you can beat man coverage with certain plays and route combos. But especially when you got dudes that can beat man coverage. CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens can beat man coverage as they are. The Denver Broncos run man at 45%, Bryan.
Right.
45%. And that's mostly like a cover one look, a one high look.
Right. Single high, yeah.
Hufunga is always the guy that kind of walks down a little bit.
He does.
He's dangerous, but we'll talk about him in a second.
Right.
Bryan, if they walk out in this majority man looking look, I've seen what Wan'Dale Robinson can do to him.
Yeah.
I don't think you should fear these guys in that way. They're dangerous.
Yeah.
They're dangerous. But I don't know if you did this, but I went back to look at George Pickens play versus Surtain last year. You know what I'm saying? And I found a cool little post about it on social medias. It's on my Twitter. Y'all can go find it. But 2 catches for 29 yards. But there was also like a 39-yard pass that was called back for holding, and it was like a pass interference down the field for like another 30-something yards, right? In theory.
So he hit him for 100, didn't he?
About 180 yards. 85 to 100 so yards. I wouldn't fear it in that way. I wouldn't fear. And look, if this is a game to where you have to trust Dak and CD and Pickens to win for you, I'm fine with that.
Sure.
Because think about what we did last week with Washington, right? Trey Amos got hit sometimes.
Yes.
We're not just going to go completely away from Trey Amos.
Right.
But if Sam Steele and Lattimore are the scrubs, they're going to get the majority of it.
Right.
But that don't mean that they went totally away from Amos. I just watching Schottenheimer and Hill come out in these press conferences, I got mad, so I decided to do it. I think him and Dak are a confident bunch of characters.
Sure.
I think they're going to try Surtain, Bryan.
I don't disagree with you. But to me, can they control this rush?
Pass rush is the key.
Can they control the rush? And we were going into the Green Bay game very concerned about Green Bay's pass rush. Did a nice job against with Micah Parsons. Did a really nice job against Gary. Those things were taken care of. Here you are now in a road environment and having to deal with these edges. And I mentioned the inside guys. This game, just give Dak the opportunity to step up in this game. That's all I'm asking right there. I just make the front of the pocket be firm enough to where he can have a place to go, because these edge rushes do a pretty nice job of finishing where the quarterback is going to be. There's not a lot of run them, pass, run them, pass, run them, pass. You don't see that. You see them finishing at the quarterback. So if Dak has done a great job this year of feeling that rush, sliding left, sliding right. The problem is it's just not coming from one side. The Broncos bring it from both sides and then the middle. But if they can find a way to block it, much like they did and how they handled Green Bay, they could have some success throwing this football. I really do believe that, especially with Riley. And I am not sitting there and acting like that. Surtain is a hell of a football player.
He's a dude.
He is a dude. But as Voch said earlier, you've got dudes playing outside too. And I'm not if you have to max some of this protection and try and make guys with spacing, if you try and do them with width, do it with chipping, whatever you do, make sure that you don't let these guys get kind of that beat on you. Getting in the third down and them knowing that they're going to rush the passer is big for them. That's why how Shoddy's going to have to maybe call this game in a way to kind of throw that rhythm of their pass rush off.
Do you think that Vance Joseph is going to try to play games with Dak and kind of hide the looks a little bit? You gave me a note earlier that they hide the coverage at 23% there.
Right.
But for the most part, and I learned this in offensive school when I was trying to be a coach back in my young days.
Yeah.
Cover 1 and cover 3 really the same thing to us.
Yeah.
As offensive coaches, play callers, players, and if they're not going to disguise that
right
at all, or just at 25%, which is 1 every 4 plays or whatever,
right,
I think the best way to get Dak is to mess with his eyes.
Yeah.
And confuse him a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you think that Vance Joseph will add to that a little more? Because what I've seen, Bryan, is progressively throughout the season they'll do a little more. They didn't blitz earlier as much.
Mm-hmm.
They blitzed a little more the past couple of weeks, and that may be because they're playing some young guys or whatever.
Yeah.
Dak's an older guy. Do you think he's gonna try to change the looks up a little bit?
I think he has to be very careful of how he plays Dak, because Dak has shown, whether it's the play action game, Dak used to struggle not knowing where everybody was on the field. And you'd see in the play action game when he turned his back to the defense and then have to re-find everybody. Like I said, last week against the Giants, they got an interception off a linebacker drop. What they'll do is, one of their big things is they'll show like when we've seen the Cowboys do this before with a Mike Zimmer with that mug that we call the mug, where the linebackers walk up into the gaps. So what you do is you get a mug look, you get everybody up on the line, and then you get those guys drop, and then you get Hufanga, the safety, blitzing off the edge. There was a couple of different times. That was kind of his go-to blitz in the Giants game, was hey, let's show the rookie that we're going to blitz and then drop and then rush somebody off the edge. And I don't know if he gets away with that with Dak. I think Dak is smart enough. Now, this week he might bring it. He might bring that blitz. He might try and just overwhelm Dallas there and see if they could, make it happen that way. But I kind of feel like right now, though, he's going to have to be very mindful. He probably has confidence that his pass rush can get home and not have to do a lot of crazy things that way. But man, younger Dak, yeah, you might have got away with those things. Older Dak has seen a lot of these things, and he's playing at a very, very high level. He hasn't been getting fooled like we've seen him some in the past.
I saved my best question for the end, Bryan Broaddus. Tell me what Vance would do, then tell me what Bryan would do.
Yeah.
Are you traveling Surtain at all, or are you leaving him on a certain side of the field?
I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave him. I think I'm going to leave him on a certain side of the field. I kind of feel like, though, this is where I trust Brian Schottenheimer and these coaches.
Everything, Bryan Broaddus.
This is where
on Miss Kathy, Bryan.
Yeah.
Spitting. Go ahead, please.
This is where I trust Schottenheimer, because if something does happen where it turns into traveling with somebody, he is going to find a way to wear the other side out. Is what he's going to do. If you want to say you want to try and take away, now Vance Joseph's got a good defense. We've been the last half hour here. We've been talking about how good this defense is, but you have a very good offense, and you have a very good play caller. And I want to believe that they will do some things if it turns into some travel. And we saw what traveling looked like in the Jets game with Sauce Gardner. We saw what that looked like. Schottenheimer came up with other ways. Still, they went Pickens' way, but then Flournoy started making plays. So you've got to find ways to be more creative. If somebody's going to travel you, block the front and then take advantage of everybody else.
What a guy Bryan Broaddus. If this was Mike McCarthy,
no, you would anything to do with traveling. anything to do with traveling would just kill any kind of rhythm the offense might have.
Yeah.
I could say, I think this is going to game, like there's a couple of things. Running the football, maybe not on first down, maybe running the ball on second down, third down. It's kind of unconventionally that way, kind of getting a little bit of a rhythm. I think also too, though, how do you block that front and pass protection? I think is going to be really, really important. Yeah. And I don't think you could get away from the run here. I think you have to try. I'm going to try and wear them down with or see if I can have some runs like the Colts did. I think that kind of that balance really, helped. The Colts win that football game because they were able to kind of stay ahead of the sticks.
Bryan, you saying it, brother.
Yeah.
You are saying it. Shouts out to you, man. It just takes me back to the Packers game in the playoffs and Jair Alexander running around with you and just tearing up everything. And it's just like
no adjustment.
It's like Mike McCarthy didn't have an answer, and I think it made Dak and CD frustrated.
Sure.
It eventually frustrated them.
Yeah.
And, I understand, just as a first-year head coach, but he's been calling plays for a long time. He's been coordinating for a long time, Bryan Broaddus. I actually trust Brian Schottenheimer when it comes to making the adjustments, and we'll figure it all out. Bryan, this is a scary unit. Well, boy, if the Cowboys
you got a scary unit too on offense.
You damn sure do. You got a scary unit. But we appreciate y'all for tapping in. We are going to be taking questions for our Q&A segment that we do every Friday. Y'all can put that down in the comments if you would like. I'll look on social media. I'll put a post out there. Y'all just be ready and drop those questions. Don't ask me about Max Crosby, because if all y'all ask about Max Crosby, we talked about him Tuesday. You know what I'm saying? Ask us something different, and we'll answer that. And don't even worry about it. Be sure to follow us on all of our platforms. We love you to pieces. Also, too, if there's anybody curious about different platforms that you can find us on, the audio, the podcast, go to our website, crownglobalmedia.com. And every single link that you're looking for, whether it be merch, where can I listen, just audio, it is there. Everything you need. Hell, you want to find some work from my YouTube page, from Brian's YouTube page, everything that you need, it is right here on crownglobalmedia.com. So just to keep me from letting y'all know different place, it's all in one spot. All right, that's Bryan Broaddus, Bryn Broaddus on VOCHLOMBARDI. That's on the damn website too. Y'all hold down till next time. We love you to pieces, and we'll answer your question tomorrow. All right, Crown.